Boom. Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. Daniel Whitelock here. I'm the physician owner at Ozark MMJ Cards. Welcome. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to join this live cast, and you guys join me in return and just get a little bit of cannabis knowledge and see how we can use cannabis to improve our wellness. All right. So I'll just jump right into it, guys. Right off the jump, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share my videos to your favorite social media platforms. If you find something interesting and you want to share to your respective social media community, go ahead and share my videos. I love it when people check out the videos and get more cannabis knowledge and use it as a catalyst for just better health, better wellness, longer, happier life. So with no further ado, folks, I'll just jump right into it. What I wanted to speak about today was really the mind-body connection and how it relates to cannabis and how we can utilize cannabis most to really use this mind-body connection to our advantage and really use it to help us lead a more purposeful, happier life, the kind of life that we envision in our heads that maybe we haven't gotten to the point to realize and manifest in our regular everyday lives. So where does this cannabis deal, right? Where does cannabis fit in this mind-body connection? Why is it important? Why am I here talking about it today? Well, I'll tell you, folks, the biggest clue as to why it's pertinent to our discussion today is really with regards to the structure of the endocannabinoid system, right? The mind-body connection, the endocannabinoid system really illustrates this mind-body connection very beautifully. Let me give you an example, all right? So looking at the structure of the endocannabinoid system, all right, it's everywhere. It pervades every organ system in the body, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, our skin, our reproductive system, our digestive system, more than anything, our nervous system. That's really where the endocannabinoid system resides, all right? The system of receptors of the endocannabinoid system, it resides on our nerves, and our nerves are everywhere from the tip of our nose to the tip of our toes, all right? So because the nervous system lives everywhere and the nervous system really envelops all of our other organ systems, it follows that the endocannabinoid system doesn't only reside in our mind, which is the biggest bundle of nervous system that we have. That mind part, that central nervous system, extends peripherally to touch all of our muscles, our skin. It wraps our blood vessels, all of our internal viscera, our organs. So for that reason, the endocannabinoid system that's living on our nervous system technically lives everywhere, okay? So from a structural standpoint, our mind, our central nervous system, our brains, does extend to other parts of our non-brain, non-nervous systems in our body. So I just wanted to start there with the structure first so that we could lay down a good foundation of why this endocannabinoid system can have such a profound effect that can start in our minds and then extend into our bodies and come to dictate to some degree the behaviors that we come to practice, okay? Let me touch more on this mind-body connection and we can see where the endocannabinoid system fits in, okay? For example, anxiety, all right? Stage fright. If you've ever heard someone who is about to deliver a speech saying, "I have butterflies in my stomach," what they're referring to is just a gastrointestinal uneasiness that comes to coincide with the fear-inducing aspect of performing on stage or delivering a speech on stage or being in front of people. So what'll happen is people will feel that fluttering in the stomach, and this can manifest in a number of ways. GI-wise, it might end up being nothing. They might have to take a trip to the bathroom, okay, because of the uneasy feeling in their stomach. So you can see how there's a connection, mind, body, bathroom, okay? You can see how these things manifest from the mind and end up having a physical manifestation, okay? All right? Great. So with regards to that, folks, you can see how a thing like cannabis, which is really effective at squashing or at least mitigating anxiety, it's also good at mitigating gastrointestinal distress, like the nausea that might accompany performance anxiety. So you can see how cannabis, how it has both an effect on the mind, which in turn ends up having a physical manifestation on the body, right? Cannabis well known to quell the fear and anxiety, and also well known and well established to quell that nausea, that upset feeling, that butterfly stomach that you get that might accompany the nausea. Okay, so I just wanted to illustrate the structure and function of the endocannabinoid system with regards to a physical symptomatic complaint. All right. So, how does this relate how does this mind body connection relate to a day to day process or a day to day thought that might have an impact on our health? Okay. Really, because what's going on in our minds will ultimately steamroll into a behavior that we come to practice. All right. Imagine a repetitive thought that you keep having over and over and over in your mind will come to dictate a behavior that you come to perform. This is a conscious decision of a behavior that you might come to perform. Okay, for example, and these could be positive or negative. For example, if someone has it in their head that they are perpetually going to be an overweight person that only eats poor food and doesn't engage in a whole lot of exercise, after a while that repetitive thought becomes manifest as action or inaction, inaction to choosing better foods and inaction with regards to performing exercise. Okay, and that's because they've come to identify with the I guess safety, the perceived safety of a predictable outcome in performing the same behavior over and over again, and knowing that they're going to get that same result. Even if they know that result is negative, they can rest easy knowing that they're living in the realm of the known, and they don't have to confront the fear that comes with the unknown. Okay, I want to just really dig into that point, because the thing that makes cannabis so useful, the thing that makes really firing up the endocannabinoid system, what makes it so useful is that it can dissolve that fear. The dissolution of fear is really the thing that I wanted to lean into for this talk here today, because when we're able to dissolve that fear, okay, that's really enveloping our ego, all right, our egoic self, all right, that sees judgment and all these things. Once we're able to undress that fear, okay, which cannabis does very, very well, stage fright gone, the butterflies in the stomach, that nausea feeling gone, because cannabis can do this, all right, squash that fear and enable the user, the judicious medical cannabis user, with a feeling of optimism and hope to really engage that identity that they have buried down beneath that ego. Well, that just opens the doors for a whole new life, a much more beautiful, promising life, where the behaviors that we perform are more in line with the purpose that we have deep in our minds, that we don't know for sure is possible. We have a feeling and an inkling that idealized self that we have in our dream mind, we have an idea that it might be possible, but we oftentimes reach the gates of fear that hold us paralyzed in inaction. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to touch on today with respect to cannabis is the idea that when we dose cannabis judiciously, and we've really, really turned on that mind body connection, we've really, really engaged it, the thing that we win is insight, because we've been able to take that fear part away. And the thing that gets us so excited about cannabis is that it opens up this whole new world of hope where we're able to repetitively have these positive thoughts, reaffirming thoughts, as opposed to these negative thoughts that bind us and keep us stuck sometimes in this sameness that even though we can rely on its predictability, right, that we find safety in, we don't find happiness in this predictability because we see ourselves performing different activities that would define us with a different identity. For example, a person who was once lazy and eating poor food choices and not engaging in exercise might have an idealized version of their self where they can see themselves having the confidence to try and purchase more healthy foods and then prepare them and then mapping out a plan for putting on clothes and then starting exercise. They might have this whole plan in their mind of exactly how they're going to do it because they've daydreamed about it because they're sick about getting the same results that they don't like over and over again. And when they allow themselves the time, the quality time, energy devoted towards their self-preservation, right? When they allow themselves that positive cannabinoid introspection, they have this repetitive, now a positive idea, replacing this negative idea, this positive idea that they have this rumination about over and over and over again. And as they allow themselves more space and more time, which is facilitated by cannabis, which really, really opens up those floodgates, right? Enables us to cross that moat of fear. That drawbridge lowers down, and you can cross over that moat of fear and enter this life of novelty. We're exploring new things that lead to our better self. Cannabis is right there, right? That's that intersection that I wanted to talk about today. Because once we engage that endocannabinoid system, thank you, Robert, for your comment. Well understood. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Great. So, folks, the thing that I wanted to lean into is the idea of just hope and optimism. And this is a real thing. It's a powerful thing when we can get such an advantage right at our fingertips. We can have it on demand. And that's the real exciting promise that I wanted to share with everyone with regards to the endocannabinoid system. A lot of the things that hold us back in our minds, if we have a tool that we can just look at those things and take a calm and really collected approach at looking at how we view ourselves, oftentimes little by little we can get confidence and optimism to develop the momentum to formulate the ideas that ultimately are going to turn into positive behaviors and the ability to practice better habits that ultimately will lead to a more refined view of yourself and then a better outlook on the actual reality that we're living in, so that it doesn't live in our dream minds, we're living it in our day-to-days. And that's how I view cannabis, really as a tool to get us to open up our minds and vanquish that fear, which is not based in reality, and the promise of a better you, a more idealized you, the you that you absolutely dream of, that you think might be possible. That is what's rooted in reality. And I think that's what gives people promise with cannabis. And that's the sort of information that I want to be able to share with everyone, because ultimately the quality of our life is dictated by the quality of our thoughts, because the quality of our thoughts are going to turn into the quality of our behaviors. So in order for us to live our best life, we have to be able to open ourselves up to really engaging those thoughts that make us happy, as opposed to those limiting thoughts that bind us in inaction and fear. So if we want to dissolve that fear, dosing cannabis is really something that I'd like to invite the user to check out, okay? Because inside of us, there's a real burning desire to embrace something that we haven't embraced before, that we think is part of our idealized self. And once we really engage that burning desire, we can feel a lot more fulfilled. All right? That burning desire is deep within you for a reason. Okay? So if we have that burning desire, let's just feed it. Okay, guys? Let's light it up. Burn it all up. Live your best life, folks. That's what I really, really hope for you. Okay? So that's the cast for today, guys. Live your best life. Cannabis can really feed that burning desire so that you can really step into that newer you that you really want to identify with, as opposed to that regular old you that's content with subpar, that's content with things that aren't your dreams and your regular day-to-day. All right? If you want to step into the newer you, that's the identity that lives way beneath this fearful ego, cannabis might be the way to go. All right? Hey, folks, listen, thanks for tuning in and checking out my video. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe and share my videos. You guys have a great, wonderful Wednesday hump day. Until we talk again, all right? Y'all be well. Be well to each other, all right? Dr. Dan, out. Bye.